Hey guys, welcome back to Shockingly True World War II. So today, I'm going to tell you about something that sounds completely made up, but I promise you it's 100% real. We're talking about a bear. Not just any bear, a soldier bear. His name was Wojtek, and he literally carried ammunition during one of the biggest battles of World War II. Yes, you heard that right. A bear fighting Nazis. Well, sort of. Stay tuned because this story is absolutely wild. But first, quick question. What other animal do you think would have made a great soldier in World War II? Leave your best ideas in the comments. I'm thinking maybe a raccoon for infiltration missions? Just me? Okay, let's get into it. All right. So our story starts in 1942 in Iran. Now, you might be wondering, wait, what were Polish soldiers doing in Iran during World War II? Great question. Buckle up for a quick history lesson. After Germany and the Soviet Union both invaded Poland in 1939, thousands of Polish soldiers ended up in Soviet prison camps. Basically gulags. Horrible conditions, right? But in 1941, there was this amnesty deal, and General Władysław Anders, try saying that 3 times fast, gathered up these freed Polish soldiers and started marching them south through the Middle East. They were evacuating through places like Iran, Iraq, Syria, and eventually heading to fight with the British. So these guys had been through absolute hell. They'd lost their homes, their families, everything. They were exhausted, traumatized, and far from home. And that's when they met a little Iranian boy carrying a sack. And inside that sack, a starving baby bear cub whose mom had been killed by hunters. Now, these Polish soldiers looked at this orphaned bear cub and probably thought, you know what, we're all orphans here. So they did what any logical person would do in 1942. They bought him. The price? Some Persian coins, a chocolate bar, a Swiss Army knife, and a tin of beef. Best trade deal in history, honestly. They named him Wojtek, which is a Polish name that basically means smiling warrior, or one who enjoys war. And guys, that name turned out to be perfect. Baby Wojtek couldn't even swallow properly at first, so these tough soldiers literally fed him condensed milk from an old vodka bottle. I'm not crying, you're crying. This is the most wholesome thing to come out of World War II, I swear. Okay, so now Wojtek is living with the 22nd Transport Company of the Polish Army. And let me tell you, this bear picked up some interesting habits from his soldier buddies. First of all, and this is completely documented with photos and eyewitness accounts, Wojtek learned to drink beer, like full bottles of beer. The soldiers would give it to him as a treat, and he loved it. It became his favorite thing. This bear had a drinking problem, but in a cute way, you know? Oh, and it gets better. He also learned to smoke cigarettes. Now, he didn't actually inhale like a human would. He'd just eat the lit cigarette after taking a puff. The soldiers thought this was hilarious. Imagine watching a bear munch on a cigarette like it's a snack. I mean, not great for his health, but this is World War II we're talking about. Wojtek also learned to salute on command. A saluting bear, people? He'd raise his paw when the soldiers told him to, and he loved to wrestle with the guys, like full-on play wrestling, where he'd gently tackle multiple soldiers at once. The key word here is gently. Wojtek never hurt anyone. He'd hide his claws and was super careful. What a gentleman. At night, he'd sleep alongside the troops and keep them warm in cold tents. He'd ride in the cab of supply trucks like a co-pilot. Basically, Wojtek was just one of the guys, except, you know, he was a 200-pound bear. The thing is, for these Polish soldiers who'd lost everything, taking care of Wojtek gave them something to love and protect. One veteran later said, "Our bear was an orphan among orphans. Maybe that's why we got on with him so well." That hits different, man. Wojtek also had some legendary moments. There's this one story about how he caught a thief, or maybe a spy, hiding in a bathhouse at the camp. Wojtek sniffed him out and pinned the guy down until soldiers arrived. Good boy. Or good bear, I guess. Quick question for you. Would you trust a bear with a crate of explosives? Because that's exactly what's about to happen. Keep watching. So by late 1943, Wojtek isn't a cute little cub anymore. He's now a 200-pound teenage bear traveling with the Polish Second Corps, and they're getting ready to ship out to Italy to fight the Nazis. But there's a problem. British military regulations said no animals allowed on transport ships, and the soldiers of the 22nd Company were like, yeah, that's not going to work for us. Wojtek is family. So you know what they did? They enlisted him. I'm dead serious. In early 1944, while they were camped in Egypt, Wojtek was officially drafted into the Polish army as a private. He got a service serial number, a paybook, everything. He was a legitimate soldier. This is the most amazing loophole of all time. Sir, you said no animals. But Wojtek here is Private Wojtek, enlisted soldier. Check the paperwork. And it worked. The officers were like, you know what? The bear's famous, everyone loves him. Morale is high. Sure, bring the bear to Italy. So Wojtek sails to Italy as an official member of the Polish military. And now he's about to face his biggest test. May 1944, the Battle of Monte Cassino. This was one of the toughest, bloodiest battles in the Italian campaign. The Germans had turned this mountain monastery into a fortress, and the Allies kept attacking and getting pushed back. Finally, the Polish Second Corps was given the mission to take Monte Cassino, and Wojtek's unit, the 22nd Artillery Supply Company, was responsible for keeping ammunition flowing to the front lines under constant enemy fire. And this is where Wojtek became a legend. So picture this. It's the middle of battle. Explosions everywhere. Soldiers are hauling heavy crates of artillery shells to the gun positions, and then, out of nowhere, they see Wojtek standing on his hind legs, picking up 100-pound crates of 25-pound shells, crates that usually took 4 men to carry, and just casually walking them over to the artillery batteries. One British eyewitness said, "Suddenly a large bear appeared, walking upright on its hind legs carrying something in its paws." Like, imagine being a British soldier and seeing that. You'd think you were hallucinating. But here's the craziest part. Wojtek never dropped a single crate. Not one. While explosions are going off all around him, this bear is just calmly delivering ammunition like he's got a route to complete. Absolute professional. The soldiers were amazed. This bear was actually helping them win the battle, and honestly, just seeing a bear hauling shells probably boosted morale like crazy. It's hard to be scared when there's a literal bear on your side doing the heavy lifting. The Allies eventually captured Monte Cassino on May 18, 1944. And to honor Wojtek's contributions, the 22nd Company designed a new emblem, a silhouette of a bear carrying an artillery shell. They wore this symbol on their uniforms and vehicles with pride. Oh, and Wojtek got promoted to corporal after this, so now he outranked some of the human soldiers. Imagine taking orders from a bear. Corporal Wojtek says we need more beer rations. Yes, sir, Corporal Bear, sir. So the war ends in 1945. But here's the sad part. Poland was under Soviet control, and most of these Polish soldiers couldn't go home. They'd spent the whole war fighting for freedom, and their own country still wasn't free. The 22nd Company with Wojtek ended up in Scotland. The locals loved him. Kids and adults would come visit the soldier bear at Winfield Camp. Wojtek even became an honorary member of the Polish-Scottish Association. Scotland was like, this bear is ours now. But as the soldiers demobilized and went back to civilian life, they couldn't keep a 500-pound bear. They couldn't send him to communist Poland either. They were worried he'd be used as propaganda, or worse. So in 1947, they made the heartbreaking decision to place Wojtek in the Edinburgh Zoo. There was even an agreement that if Poland ever became free again, Wojtek would be returned home. At the zoo, Wojtek lived until 1963. He was still a star, Edinburgh's most popular attraction. Former Polish soldiers would visit him, and when Wojtek heard Polish being spoken, he'd perk up and recognize his old friends. One veteran said he sobbed like a baby when he saw Wojtek again after so many years. Visitors would toss lit cigarettes into his enclosure, and Wojtek would eat them just like the old days. He never forgot his army life. Wojtek died on December 2, 1963 at age 21. His death made international news. The soldier bear was gone, but his legend was just beginning. So today, there are memorials to Wojtek all over the world. There's a bronze statue in Edinburgh's Princes Street Gardens, showing a friendly bear standing next to a Polish soldier. There are monuments in London, Krakow, and Ottawa. Museums display his story and that famous emblem of a bear carrying a shell. Wojtek became a symbol of the Polish Second Corps' bravery and resilience. These were soldiers who'd been through hell, prison camps, exile, brutal battles, and yet they found room in their hearts to care for an orphaned bear cub. And that bear paid them back by standing beside them in one of the war's toughest fights. The inscription on Wojtek's Edinburgh Memorial says, "For your freedom and ours." That was the motto of the Polish forces fighting in World War II. They were fighting for everyone's freedom, even when their own homeland wasn't free. Wojtek's story reminds us that even in the darkest times, there's room for compassion, friendship, and hope. Also, it reminds us that bears are strong. Like seriously, 100-pound crates? Come on. So guys, that's the story of Wojtek, the soldier bear. A Syrian brown bear cub who became a corporal in the Polish army, helped win the Battle of Monte Cassino, and became a legend. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more weird but true WW2 stories. Seriously, we've got so much wild stuff coming up. And drop a comment below. What's your favorite war animal story? We've had war horses, war dogs, war pigeons. What else should we cover? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay curious, history nerds.